Imagine the most radioactive place on Earth, a ghost town, a site so dangerous that 40 years later, people still can't live there. Now imagine a drone hitting it. That's not a hypothetical. That just happened. Today. What's up, everyone? Let's talk about something that honestly should be breaking through every newsfeed right now, but might be getting buried. This morning, Ukraine announced that a Russian drone struck a nuclear fuel storage facility near Chernobyl. Yeah, that Chernobyl, the site of the worst nuclear disaster in human history. Here's what we know, why it matters, and why you should care even from thousands of miles away in the US.
So early this morning, Ukrainian officials confirmed that a Russian drone hit a storage facility for spent nuclear fuel near the Chernobyl power plant. Now, spent nuclear fuel, what does that mean? Think of it as the exhaust of a nuclear reactor. It's no longer powering anything, but it's still highly radioactive and has to be stored carefully for decades. You don't just leave it in a shoebox. The facility that was hit is located about 9 miles from the Chernobyl plant itself. That's close, very close. The good news, and there is some good news here, Ukrainian officials said no spent fuel was actually being stored in the specific building that was hit at the time of the attack. A fire broke out but was extinguished, and no injuries were reported. And radiation levels, they say, remain stable. But here's the thing. No injuries this time isn't really the story. The story is that this keeps happening. This is not a one-off. Back in February 2025, a Russian drone damaged the containment arch sitting directly over the Chernobyl reactor, the one that exploded in 1986. Russia denied responsibility for that attack. NBC News. And it's not just Chernobyl. Both Ukraine and Russia have accused each other of attacking the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is the largest nuclear plant in all of Europe, currently under Russian occupation in southeastern Ukraine. NBC News. So we're not talking about one rogue strike. We're talking about a pattern of attacks in and around nuclear sites. Whether it's accidental or intentional, the danger is the same. Ukraine's foreign minister put it bluntly. Andriy Sybiha wrote on X, "This is not the first time Russian forces are putting Ukrainian nuclear facilities at risk. Russia's nuclear blackmail and threats to nuclear safety are systemic, deliberate, and unacceptable." NBC News. Systemic, deliberate, unacceptable. Strong words, and hard to argue with given the track record.
Now, look, I know what some of you are thinking. This is in Eastern Europe. Why does this affect me in Ohio or Texas or California? Fair question. Here's your answer. Number one, radiation doesn't have a passport. The 1986 Chernobyl disaster spread radioactive contamination across much of Europe. A serious incident at or near Chernobyl today could affect air and water quality across the continent, impacting U.S. allies, U.S. military personnel stationed in Europe, and global food supplies. Number two, nuclear safety is a global norm. The moment we start treating strikes on nuclear facilities as just another war tactic, we've crossed a line that the entire international community has tried very hard not to cross since World War II. That's a precedent that affects everyone, everywhere. And number three, the U.S. has deep ties to Ukraine's nuclear security. American taxpayers have contributed billions toward nuclear safety in that region since the Soviet Union collapsed. We have a stake in this.
Let's be real for a second. What's the actual worst-case scenario? A direct strike on active nuclear material, not a receiving building, but the actual stored fuel, could trigger radioactive contamination of the surrounding area. The Chernobyl exclusion zone sits near the Pripyat River, which feeds into the Dnieper, a major water source for millions of Ukrainians. We got lucky today. The building that was hit was empty of fuel. But luck is not a nuclear safety strategy.
Sources: NBC News, Reuters, June 7th, 2026.